So good afternoon, everybody. And thanks for taking the time to attend our session here, titled Building a Hybrid Architecture for Enterprise-Grade Backup and Recovery. My name is Samir Nori. I'm joined here by my colleague, Dayanand Sharma from Cohesity.
Hello.
We're on the Cloud Solutions team at Cohesity. And we're very excited to be joined by Chris Menard from Brown University. Chris is a lead storage admin at Brown University. And he's going to be walking through his experience using Cohesity and Microsoft Azure. So we're very excited to have Chris here. Thanks for being here, Chris. Just in terms of housekeeping, we're going to be doing a raffle right at the very end of the session. So it's a Jabra headset. So definitely keep your raffle tickets. So let's get started with our presentation here. I wanted to spend a couple of minutes and just give you a quick overview for Cohesity. So for those of you who are not familiar with Cohesity, just by a show of hands, in the audience, who's heard of Cohesity, familiar with our solution? Okay, so there's a few people. So we're about a 5-year-old company, founded in 2013 by Dr. Mohit Aaron. And Mohit was the co-founder of Nutanix. So again, show of hands, familiarity with Nutanix? Okay, so that's a bigger number. So I think, then I think some of the principles and the core, foundational hypotheses for Cohesity will be familiar to those of you who are familiar with Nutanix. Mohit was also the lead on the Google file system. So we've got a pretty phenomenal pedigree in terms of the underlying background from where our founding team has come from. Founding team comes from Nutanix, Google, VMware, a number of other companies. As a company, we've seen some phenomenal growth in the almost 2.5 years we've been in market. After spending the first 2.5 years building product, 300 to 600% revenue growth. We do very well in sort of the large enterprise segment. And we're backed by a phenomenal set of investors. Some of the names you see there. Most recently, SoftBank, invested in us, as well as marquee investors like Sequoia Capital, so on and so forth. Why do I bring this up? I think it speaks to the value we're bringing to customers and the phenomenal traction we've had, and sort of the redefining of the secondary data infrastructure we're paving the way for. You see a number of different logos on the right. Like I said, had phenomenal traction in a number of different verticals. Companies like Brown University, HKS, Shutterstock, Manhattan Associates, so on and so forth. Our roster of customers continues to grow every week and every quarter at a pretty phenomenal pace. So I thought I'll spend a few minutes talking about the problem we're really solving, and you'll hear me talk about, and Chris and Dayanand as well, talk about secondary data and apps. And so I thought it makes sense to spend a few minutes talking about, what is that landscape, and what's the underlying problem statement there. So the way we like to think about this is, analogous to an iceberg. And if you think about an iceberg and the part that floats above the surface and below the surface, we sort of think of primary and secondary very much in that vein. Everything below the iceberg is secondary data. And what do we mean by secondary? We're talking about workloads and data that's comprised of backups, archives, file shares, test dev, DR, analytics, really being 80% of an enterprise's data and growing much faster than in the primary, right? So all of you know that data is just growing at an exponential rate. And we see this as being the lion's share of where customers have had challenges in terms of the set of solutions they were working with before and the underlying issues there. Now, we're definitely focused on solving and making this infrastructure and set of solutions better for you all, as you'll hear me talk about a little bit, and as well as from Chris. There's 3 fundamental issues we see in this landscape. So the first is, across all of those different workloads and silos, the set of solutions, there's multiple silos and multiple solutions from different vendors. So it's very fragmented in nature. There is one solution for backup, one for potentially archiving, one for DR, and one for file shares, so on and so forth. And so it's a pretty fragmented infrastructure. You all are creating probably copies of data across each of those for different purposes and different use cases. So that's kind of the first underlying challenge and the problem we see there. The second is it's inefficient. I already touched upon it a little bit in terms of number of copies being created, extra provisioning. If you're in the application development side and you're waiting to get a set of data for, let's say, test dev purposes, you're probably having to spend a few weeks, maybe even a month, waiting for that data because your IT and our storage counterparts are can't come up and spin up that data fast enough for you, right? And the third is we see visibility across all of these different silos, which then sort of poses a compliance risk. Right? As different regulations and compliance need to be met, we see that as being the third underlying pillar here in terms of the challenges here. So this is really kind of the heart of what Cohesity was founded on in terms of being able to solve for this problem and making the secondary data infrastructure better. So let's jump in a little bit, talk from a cloud perspective. So I wanted to set the context for secondary data and what we define that. But let's talk a little bit about sort of the hybrid cloud and sort of our value proposition there and how we bring that to bear. So I think sort of the growth in information and data just continues to happen at an astounding and exponential growth, exponential pace. Some stats here you see, enterprises are managing 63% are managing 50 petabytes or more, and that growth is occurring at a 40 to 50% annual CAGR. Additionally, associated with that is that this growth then results in the backup challenges actually being magnified. With 51% of you admitting that your backup infrastructure is not well suited to keep up with this growth, right? And archive is seen really as a means to control the growth rather than actually being a value driver. And the third piece then is that cold data, right, which you think you're going to archive and put it away and not really touch it anymore, is actually being required more and more for legal purposes or analytics purposes, so on and so forth. And older tape infrastructures aren't well suited to meet the demands. So we see this theme occurring over and over with customers when it comes to the cloud, is the ability to reduce their reliance on tape and use services like Microsoft Azure-Blob storage and use our cloud services in conjunction with that to enable that. So that's I think just some challenges we see in terms of context setting and some of the industry trends. In our customer base, we see, if you think about the different use cases I touched on, we see pretty uniform distribution in terms of what customers are looking to do. So long-term retention is probably the place where customers start with us the most. And what's interesting here is that customers also want to run a lot of test dev projects and cycles in the cloud, as well as tiering of cold data and utilizing blob storage services for that. It's a pretty uniform spread in terms of what we see in our customer base. And I thought this was useful to share. If you pair this with some of the data points on the previous slide, you'll see that our platform really is built to solve a number of these different solutions and use cases. So diving a little deeper, into sort of the data protection landscape specifically and what we see there. So the picture, on your left and on your right, is sort of a typical breakdown of what we see occurring within customers in sort of the data protection world when it comes to legacy solutions. There's typically a mix of master servers and media servers, tape libraries, target storage devices. So that's 4-point solutions right in there of itself, just within backup. And the typical applications being backed up range from physical servers, virtual machines, databases, and NAS devices. Like I talked about earlier, this is fragmented. It's inefficient and it's costly. We've seen customers spending millions of dollars on these different solutions collectively, and that's a huge pain point. When it comes to the cloud, there's limited integration. So if a customer wants to which has one or more of these existing solutions and they're looking to leverage the cloud, typically they're having to go with another point product for cloud archival and use a bolt-on gateway. And that's really only good for archival and long-term retention and can't be really used for anything else. So we see these as being sort of three fundamental challenges within data protection today. How do we solve for this? So we really help simplify this landscape that you've seen. So all the different pieces that you saw before, media servers, master servers, tape libraries, are all gone with us. We have one platform, the Cohesity DataPlatform. And you see our data protect software, that's our backup and recovery software piece that works with the platform, really being one solution to help you consolidate all of those different point solutions before. You get a lot more efficiency, you get consolidation. Oftentimes the best way to think about this is, good way to think about it is similar to how the iPhone has helped bring together, on the iPhone you have a GPS, you have a camera, you've got MP4 player, all of those were separate things before. With the iPhone you've been able to bring it all together. That's actually a good way to think about us in terms of what we're able to do in helping modernize the data protection and backup infrastructure you have. The third piece here, when it comes to the cloud, is that we're a cloud-native platform. So we're built from the cloud, from the ground up to accommodate integration with Microsoft Azure and the public cloud. And so we have a set of cloud services and capabilities that really enable you to really pretty much seamlessly make that transition to the cloud and make that a key part of your infrastructure. So a little bit more detail on our platform, right? You heard me, for those of you familiar with, some of you raise your hands so you're familiar with Nutanix. We're a hyperconverged platform from a design perspective. So we're bringing the hyperconvergence design principles to secondary data. If I were to elevate it at a very high level. Our platform here, which you see underneath, is the Cohesity DataPlatform. There's 3 different editions of the platform. There's what we run on premises, there's what we run in the cloud, which is our cloud edition, and then there's the virtual edition. And so in terms of the range of support we have for backing up applications and data, it ranges from physical, so file and volume level backup for Linux, bare metal for Windows. From hypervisor and virtual perspective, we support obviously VMware, Hyper-V, Acropolis, support for databases, so Oracle, SQL, and then from a NAS perspective, being able to support backup of NetApp and Isilon, and any other NAS really for that matter. So really comprehensive set of applications and data that can be backed up onto Cohesity, and making that, and we continue to add support. So for instance, today we just announced that we've added support for Office 365 and specifically Exchange Online, right? So we're continuously adding to that that set of capabilities in terms of what we can back up and support. In terms of cloud use cases, now that we've heard a little bit about the platform and just some key things there, we really sort of think about our cloud use cases and our portfolio of cloud solutions in 3 different categories or segments. The first is around long-term retention. So I touched upon this in terms of utilizing our cloud archive capability to tier data to the cloud and keep it there for long-term retention. Some of the key capabilities in our platform include things like global dedupe, compression, which really actually enables the archival and retention process to be a lot more efficient and seamless in terms of how you can actually enable it. Second set here is around storage tiering, and really using the cloud as another tier of data to take your colder chunks of data in addition to what you have on hard drives and solid state. And the one thing I'll mention is in all of our use cases and solutions, both on premises and the cloud, it's a single interface that can be used to register your targets, set up your policies, and make that entire process work. And you're going to see a couple of demos from Dayanand in terms of actually showing you how this works. And Chris is also going to share some additional details in terms of how some of the key things with that interface that he and his team have been able to utilize. The third set of solutions or use cases is then around test dev and DR. So this is where our Cloud Edition really comes into play in terms of running natively in the Azure cloud and really enabling replication to and from or on premises, what you have on premises. We also have a capability called Cloud Spin that helps you convert VMs from on-premise format to the appropriate Azure format. So pretty comprehensive set of solutions across the cloud, and in terms of what we enable. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Chris here. Chris is going to talk about his solution, the underlying architecture and details, and I think you'll gain a lot of value from listening to Chris here. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Samir. As Samir said, my name is Chris Menard, and I'm lead storage administrator at Brown University. We're based in Providence, Rhode Island. We had a very older legacy backup system that at the beginning of this year or the end of last year, we started looking at how can we do this better. So we ended up looking at Cohesity. And just a little more background on Brown. We have roughly 9,000 undergrad students and somewhere in the range of 20,000 total between staff, faculty, and et cetera. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Right now we are a Cohesity and Azure customer. We're using Microsoft Azure as one of our cloud providers. Cohesity, we're using that to send our secondary data off into the Azure cloud. One of our objectives with this was to modernize the way that we do not just our backup, but the way that we're storing our disaster recovery data. And we were also looking at having some enhanced features along with that and the integration with the cloud, specifically with Azure. So some of our challenges that we had with our old legacy system are we were having a lot of issues with making our backup windows on a nightly basis. We'd come in every morning. We'd still have backups running pretty much throughout the entire day. Doesn't leave you a lot of time to do maintenance on the system or upgrades and things of that nature. Speaking of upgrades, on our old legacy system, the upgrades were extremely difficult. We had a lot of moving pieces, master servers, proxies, external storage. We weren't using any tape, so that wasn't really involved, but we were using external storage as a backup. So there was a lot of moving pieces that we had to upgrade, and I'm sure that if anyone else has done backup and recovery, you know that sometimes those backups those upgrades don't go as smoothly as you'd like, and that can take a process that should only take you a few hours might take you a day, 2 days, and you have to spread that across multiple teams to get that done. And our last big challenge was troubleshooting failed backups, troubleshooting issues that were caused by running the backups. So when you're backing up, your VMware environment or virtual environment, you're relying on snapshots being created in the virtual environment to do those backups. And we were finding that we were having lots of issues around snapshots not being cleaned up, backups failing for multiple different reasons. And we were spending a lot of time between a lot of different teams just troubleshooting those different types of issues. In our old legacy system, cloud wasn't even a piece of that. We were doing disaster recovery the old-fashioned way, where we had replication to a DR site to another physical device. So we had to maintain that hardware as well and do upgrades on that hardware, and it was just not something that we had even really considered at that point. And of course, we were maintaining all the additional hardware to get that data from on-prem to our DR site. So we started looking at what kind of systems are out there that can bring us a more modern approach to doing our backup and recovery. We wanted to consolidate the system down to as few pieces as we possibly could, so that way we have better manageability and scalability when it comes to our backup and recovery process. We were also looking for a way to make it easier to manage. When you have multiple master servers and you've got proxies that are kind of sprawled throughout your entire environment, and you've got external hardware that you have to connect to, there's a lot of pieces there that you have to log into, you have to check and maintain, and it's very difficult to manage that kind of a system. We also liked the idea that with Cohesity, we get one single view of all of our different environments. So if I have a physical Cohesity appliance, or if I have a virtual, or if I have a cloud appliance, I log into the GUI, it looks exactly the same across all those platforms. So in our environment, we're backing up around 1,000 VMs nightly. Our environment is pretty much completely virtualized. We have a few physical servers where we can use an agent to back those up as well. We have a 4-node Cohesity cluster, and that's backing up our entire environment currently. And we're also using that to send our secondary data off into Azure. We have network connectivity through a local provider called Ocean, which is a higher ed network using Internet 2, and we use ExpressRoute into Azure to facilitate our offsite copies. So this is a picture of our actual dashboard at Brown. So when I log into our Cohesity appliance GUI, this is what I'll see. So it gives us a pretty good look at how the health of the system is. There's individual tiles that you can actually click on, and you can get more in-depth information on each of those pieces. But from a first login kind of a view, it gives you a really good report on how did things go last night, how does the system look, how does my storage look, am I using, do I need to buy more? For other teams, when they log in, they get a similar page, and there's, like you can see in the top there, there's a recover button. They can just jump right into recovers from there. So let's zoom in on one of the tiles. So one of the tiles here would be the protected objects. This shows me how many objects I'm protecting, how many are virtual machines, physical servers, how much size that's taking up. Gives us a good look into where we stand with what we're protecting and what we need to be protecting. And this is actually one of my favorite ones. We look at this quite often. This shows the dedupe rate. So you can actually, if you were to click into this tile further, you could actually tell it to go back and look over yesterday, 7 days, 30 days. You can look back and see how is my trend going with my storage capacity, and how is the data being deduped? Is there a problem there, or is it just rolling along the way that we expect it? And then this is a job runs tile, so it'll show you the snapshot of the previous night's protection job runs, and it will tell you how many ran, if there were any errors, and if you click into this tile further, you can actually get a list of all of your protection jobs, and it will show you the status, and if like this one obviously had an error, I could have clicked on that job and I could have found what was causing the error and then troubleshoot it and fix it. So as a result of us going with Cohesity for our backup and secondary data, we've had a significant reduction in the amount of time it takes us to do our backups. Basically, when we come in first thing in the morning, our backups are always done. Where I don't think I've seen one time where I've come in and had backups running past 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, whereas before we could have had backups running all day long. And that's including also shipping off our secondary data into our Azure cloud as well. The recovery times with Cohesity, we've had a few instances where we've had to recover entire VMs, and the process is very fast because it spins it up right on the Cohesity. So the system comes back online, and then it does a storage vMotion in the background, and we'll send it to the ESX host or cluster where you want it to go. So we're seeing extremely good performance when it comes to recoveries. We have had a pretty good amount of savings with the system. We no longer have to have 2 devices because we're using Azure as our secondary target. So I don't have to maintain a second piece of hardware. I've been able to save the rack power cooling and the cost of that particular piece of hardware and any maintenance. And we've also been able to reduce, get rid of some licensing that we had on our old backup software as well. And the integration with the cloud is just extremely simple with Cohesity. It was very easy to set up, and once it's set up, you just add it into your protection job run, and you can decide how long you want to keep the data there. You can tell it when to send the data. It can be right after the job. You can do it at a later time. It gives you a lot of flexibility as far as what you want to do with that data, putting it into Azure in the cloud. And I'm going to hand it over for a demo.
I got it. But, okay. Thank you, Chris. Hi, guys. My name is Dayanand Sharma, and I'm from Cohesity. Give me a second here while I turn on my Mac and switch the screens around to show you guys the demo. No, it's OK. I'll come back to it later. So we'll dive right into the demo. I'll be giving 2 demos. The first demo is backing up the workloads on-prem onto an on-prem Cohesity cluster, and then restoring it from the same cluster, as well as restoring it from the cloud. And as a part of the second demo, we would be covering the disaster recovery, where now you are archiving it into the cloud, and we would assume that the on-prem is not available anymore, disaster struck, the on-prem cluster is not available, and we would use the resources entirely present in the cloud to be able to do the recovery. So the screen that you see here right now is the UI of a one-node cluster, which is sitting on our on-prem data center in San Jose. Right? I would go ahead and log in. And you are greeted with the dashboard that Chris was alluding to. You see a bunch of important stats in there. Last 24 hours, how many jobs ran, were there any SLA violations, how many errors, overall health of the cluster in the last 24 hours, anything critical going on, total storage utilization, what is the total storage of the cluster right now, is out of 1.5 terabytes, 51 gigs is used. Total storage reduction in terms of dedupe, how much dedupe you are getting out of it, and other such stats. Now, the first thing is that, after the cluster is installed, the first thing that you would want to do is get the backups going. And to get the backups going is basically 3 simple steps. First one is you tell us where is the environment that you want to back up. We call it source registration. So all that you need to do is go to protection, sources, and I can go ahead and add a source or register a source. These are the various types of sources that we support. It could be a hypervisor, physical server, SQL, Oracle, different clouds. Within hypervisors, you can have a VMware vCenter, standalone ESX, Hyper-V, Nutanix, and Red Hat. So typically, you would just go here, give the source IP, the username, and password. Go ahead and register the source, and that's it. So right now, in my cluster, I already have 2 sources registered. First one is my on-prem vCenter. And it shows that right now from that vCenter, I have 3 VMs that I'm backing up, right? And the second one is my Azure subscription account. So that is step 1. We went ahead, told us where is the source or the environment that we want to back up. The second one is a policy creation or a protection policy creation. And what that does is it lets you define the schedule and retention of the backups that will be landing on us. Again, very simple. Go to Protection Policy Manager. Go ahead, create a policy. At this point, I would go ahead and create a policy. Let's call it Ignite Policy 3. I want to back up, let's say, every 4 hours and retain it locally on this cluster for 7 days. Just go ahead and say create. So I just created a policy which is going to back up 4 hours, every 4 hours, and retain for 7 days. Lastly, we would go ahead and create a production job. Now, this is where we are specifying which are the actual VMs that we want to back up, right? Go ahead, protect virtual servers. Again, give a name to the policy, name to the VM job, sorry. Let's call it Ignite Job 3. Source. As a part of the first step, we had already added the source, so we would go ahead and choose our virtual center. Now it provides you with a hierarchical view of all the objects in your vCenter. You can drill down up to the cluster level, each ESX host, or you can just go to the VM listing and look at all the VMs, or you can just go ahead and search and specify the VMs that you want to back up. For example, I say TME, and it brings up all the VMs that have the string TME in them. I would go ahead and select one of them. Now, this is basically a dummy VM for test purposes, just 1 gig in size. I would go ahead and add it. So basically, I'm going to back up this VM, attach it to the policy that we just created so that it gets backed up every 4 hours with the retention of 7 days, and add it to a storage domain. Now, storage domain is a construct that we use, which basically, given that it's a hyper-converged platform that we have, it's not only for the backups. You can use the same platform for a variety of other use cases, which may or may not have the same properties like dedupe, compression, encryption. So there might be a workload which is highly dedupable and compressible. You can create one storage domain for that, and the other workload, which may not be, you can create a separate. So think of it as a storage pool within the system, right? Go ahead and say protect. It's going to create a new protection job called Ignite Job 3 that we can take a look at it now. So the job is running. We'll let this job run and finish, and then we will come back and recover this VM from within Cohesity. So that will be an example of you do a local recovery. You backed up a VM on us, and we can recover it back to the same environment or a different environment, but all this while we are still playing on-site, right, on-prem. So while this backup is going on, let's look at another policy, an existing policy or an existing job that we have, which is, oh, this is going to finish too. So we can come back and restore this first. Let's see. OK, so the backup just finished, right? We'll go ahead and do a recovery of the same VM. This VM is actually coming from this vCenter here, right? TME, BizApp, DB1. This is the one that we backed up just now, right? OK, I need to authenticate again. OK, so TME, BizApp, DB01 was the VM that we backed up. And we would go ahead and restore it to the same environment. Again, the restore step is pretty easy. Go to production, recovery, recover a VM. So this is basically a VM level recovery. So here's the VM that we had just backed up. Select the VM, continue, and now we need to provide where do we want to restore it. It could be to the same vCenter. It could be to a different vCenter that is already registered to us. So let's first of all rename it and add today's date as the prefix so that we can identify it once it's recovered. Recover it back to the original location and say finish. While this is recovering, let's look at another job that we have, right? So this is basically an example of a VM level recovery, where you lost the VM and you're recovering the whole VM from Cohesity. We could either wait or let's see how much time it takes, and then that was quick. OK, so now let's go back to the vCenter. And here is the VM that we just recovered, right? So this is this. Now let's take a look at, you don't want to recover a full VM. You wanted to do a granular recovery, right? You lost a file or a bunch of files, and you just want to do that. Let's take a look at a job, an existing job called Archive to Cloud VM. And as a part of this job, I'm backing up this VM called Windows 16 Gold VM, right? Let's go to this VM on the vCenter. OK. And there is this file called Ignite text file, right? Let's go ahead and remove it. OK. Gone, right? Now let's go back to the cluster again. We are on Cohesity, and we'll go ahead and recover that file. Go to Protection, Recovery. And this time, when we go to recover, it's not going to be a VM recovery. It's going to be a file level recovery. So go to File or Folders. Look for the file that we just lost.
And this search feature is actually really helpful because you can search not only for files, you can search for your systems as well. It's a global search of basically anything that's been indexed
right
within the system.
So you'll
Very helpful.
Yep. You will see the VMs, you will see the protection jobs, anything that has that string would actually show up here. So select the file that we just deleted. Now you have a bunch of options. You can select which version of the file you want to restore. You can pick up the latest snapshot. So each of these rows that you see is a point-in-time snapshot of every time the job ran. So let's pick up the latest file, which is from today, 12:16 p.m., and say recover to the server. Provide the username or the credentials to the server that you want to restore it to. And I hope I remember the password. Recover to the original location and override the file if it exists. Recover files. So this is the recovery job. Give it a few seconds. Okay, it finished. We'll go back to the VM, and the file is there, right? So this is an example of a granular restore.
It would also be helpful to point out that it also would restore it with all of its original file permissions intact as well.
Exactly.
That was a big selling piece for us when we were doing our proof of concept.
Yep. Thank you, Chris. So, so far we have covered backup to on-prem Cohesity and a recovery, right? There's no cloud to the mix yet. So now let's add some cloud to the mix. Remember this, this policy that we just created earlier today, Ignite Job 3, where we were backing up the VM to us. And we did the restore as well, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at it, edit the policy, and let's add some archival to this job. So in effect, what we'll be doing is back it onto us on-prem, as well as send it out to an external target. But before we can do that, there is one step that is needed, and that is registration of an external target, right? So this is where you would typically connect to your Azure Hot Blob or Cool Blob, Azure Archive Blob that you've already created in your Azure subscription. And in this page, you would go ahead and connect to it, basically. So go to Register External Target, give it a name. Purpose is archival. Type. Give it your container name, storage account name, and the storage access key. Hit register. And it will basically go ahead and find it just like these two that I already have added. And just to demonstrate these two existing ones that I have added to my on-prem Cohesity, this one is a hot blob that is coming from my storage account. And we'll go to my Azure subscription, search for it, and verify that it actually is coming from my Azure subscription. Hopefully, we do have the connectivity to the Azure portal. go to the blobs, and you can see that there is a container1, which has the archived objects coming from that cluster. Make sense? So basically, we can go ahead and modify our existing job to also upload to these external targets. So go to the job again, ignite job 3. We'll go ahead and edit the job and say, I want to archive it to. Archive to. This is where you're going to select the already registered external targets. Click a target and save. So the next time this job is going to run, it's also going to archive it out to the cloud. Go ahead and save it. So I also wanted to show you a recovery from the cloud, basically, right? So we'll take an example of a job which has been running for a while, already has the archived storage in Azure-Storage-Blob, and use the snapshots that are stored there to do a recovery. So let's look at this job called Archive to Cloud VM, and let's see what the job is actually doing. So we are backing up every hour, retaining it for 7 days, and at the same time, we are actually archiving it to 2 different places. And both of them, one is a hot blob in Azure, and the other one is the archive blob. Right? So we'll come back here, and we'll do a recovery. And so to do the recovery, go to Protection, Recovery, recover a VM, look for the VM that you want to recover, and here we'll basically choose the snapshot, or which snapshot should we use to recover that VM. Like you can see that there are 3 options here. First one is local. Second one is the Azure hot blob. And the third one is the archive blobs. So from the previous screen, if you remember, zoom it in. Is this better? OK, so let's pick up. So at any given point of time when we are doing the recovery, you have a choice. If the snapshot is still available locally, you would ideally go ahead, select local. If, let's say, the local retention is passed and the local snapshot has expired, usually you would have the archival or the archive snapshot would have more retention than your local snapshot, right? You can go ahead, in that case, go ahead and click on the snapshot which is in the cloud and select those ones. Click Save. Let's rename. Let's say add a prefix on the recovered VM, recover it back to the original vCenter, and say Finish. Now this is going to take a while because in this step, it is actually going to pull up those snapshots from Azure and then restore. So while that is running, we can take a look at an existing recovery that was done the same way. And we can go to Cloud Recoveries. So this is the one that is going on right now. We can go to the previous one, take a look at what we did here, right? So we added a VM prefix Azure, just like we added the prefix Ignite just now. And the original source was the on-prem vCenter. And that's also the target where we restored to. and this is the VM that we had restored. So taking a look on our vCenter, we should see a VM with prefix Azure in front of the VM. And so this is basically the VM that was recovered from the cloud. So far we have covered two use cases where you did a local recovery as well as a recovery from Azure Cloud. In the next section, after break, after I think Chris has a few slides, but after that we would come back and touch upon the disaster recovery use case where we would assume that the on-prem Cohesity is gone, and we would do the recovery. The source of the recovery is going to be in Azure, and the destination is going to be in the Azure as well. Thank you. Oh, I can come back to that in the next one. Yeah, later, next one. Yep, later. During the second demo.
So some of our disaster recovery challenges were on our old system, like I said earlier, we were replicating from our on-prem to a off-site colo that was hosting another physical piece of storage that had all of our backup data on it. We had a lot of issues with how do I connect to that when I'm at my DR site, how do I get either virtual machines or data restored back into that, you know, especially if we're doing like a disaster recovery test. We had a lot of issues with getting that functionality really working. Like I said, one of the major problems was having that second piece of hardware. It just was very difficult to maintain, manage, and to even get these VMs or the data recovered. Our current system, even before when we're doing the POC and now, we also do replication of some of our high priority VMs into a cloud infrastructure that's in our DR site that's hosted for us. We continue to do that today. That hasn't changed. So with our new solution with Cohesity and Azure, we have a physical Cohesity appliance that lives in our data center, and we are connected to our Azure cloud storage through the Cohesity, and we can send our secondary copies offsite into that blob storage, and we can recover those VMs either back on-prem like we just showed on the demo, or we can recover those VMs or files into Azure itself. We'll have a cloud edition. It's basically a virtual machine that runs in Azure. I can connect that cloud edition to the same archive blob that I sent the data to from the on-prem, and then I can selectively recover some of those snapshots back in. I can recover the whole thing, which that would probably be pretty expensive, but we could do that. You can also selectively pick individual snapshots for individual virtual machines or different points in time, and then you can either do file level recoveries if you have the VM already stood up in Azure, or you could recover the VM directly back into Azure. It'll actually do a conversion for you, depending on what you have on-prem.
You can go back to the previous slide for, yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, just keep this on. Yeah.
So we're going to have a demo on the cloud retrieve process.
Yep. Thanks, Chris. I'm good. So guys, as a part of the second demo, we are going to show what is right now illustrated in this slide, where you backed up the workloads to on-prem Cohesity, you archived it to Azure, and then let's assume after that happened, disaster struck on-prem, it's not available anymore. Nothing is available, right? All data is lost. But fortunately, you do have the data available in Azure. At that point, what you would do is basically spin up what we call as Cohesity Cloud Platform, which is the same software, same platform that runs on-prem, but now instead of running on physical nodes, it runs on Azure VMs, right? Once you have that going, you can simply point it or add an external target, point it to the same blobs that were created or that were used by the on-prem Cohesity, pull the data down, do the recovery, and run those on-prem workloads as Azure VMs now in the cloud. Now, obviously, there is a conversion involved there, the format conversion being that you started out as VMware VMDKs from on-prem, and now to run into Azure, you need to be in the VHT format. So we take care of that format conversion as well, right? So let me bring up or switch the screen. So meanwhile, this is the status of the real-time recovery that I had started in the previous demo. It's 53% done. It's basically the one that is going to pull the data from Azure-Blob onto on-prem Cohesity, do the recovery. This one, the demo 2 that we are going to do is basically recover it, but not to on-prem, within the cloud, to Cohesity Cloud Edition and do it from there. So I would go ahead and close the on-prem business and connect to my Cohesity cluster in Azure. And again, just to illustrate that this IP is actually coming from Azure, I will go to my Azure account. So this is basically a single node Cohesity cluster running in Azure. Go to networking and look at the private IP, 10.103.0.100, right? So just to show that I'm actually connected to a cluster which is in Azure.
A good thing to point out too is that with the Cloud Edition, you get the flexibility of going from one node to, you can scale it up to as many nodes as you need. So that way you can start with one, and then if you decide you need more, you can always have more later.
Yep, just to go with the cloud theme, pay as you use. You can start out with one cluster, and once you realize you are going closer to the capacity, you can add more nodes to the same cluster. And you can also actually remove the nodes if you realize that you're not going to be needing that much capacity going into the future. So I'll go ahead and log into my Cohesity Cloud Edition. So the first step here would be that since on-prem is not available anymore, and all you have is that Azure Blob, which has your data, is that you would go ahead, add that blob as an external target, which I've already done. And again, I'm pointing it to the same storage account in the container that I was using from on-prem, right? So the next step here is this cluster doesn't know anything about the data. The job was not created here. The jobs were created on-prem. So as the first step, after we pointed to the Azure blobs, is I need to know. I need some metadata, right? So that is the first step that you need to do go to protection, cloud retrieve. And as a part of this step, what we are going to do is we are going to search the archive. Go to new search, right? And we are going to go ahead and search the archive for the metadata. And what that metadata is going to contain is information about the protection jobs, what VMs were being backed up, what were the different snapshots, what was the date and time of those snapshots, as well as the metadata about the VMs itself, right? So as a part of this, we are basically downloading the information that we need to be able to do the disaster recovery, right? So you can actually come here, specify a start range, an end range. So maybe maybe last 7 days or maybe last 2 days. Cohesity cluster name. Now you can actually use the same Azure Blob for multiple clusters. So you may have a cluster here in Orlando. You may have another cluster in New Jersey. You can point all of them to the same blob store, right? So here, this is a way for you to tell if you want to restrict the search to a specific source cluster. Or if you already know the protection job name, specify that too. Again, optional, you don't have to, but again, gives you the flexibility to be able to specify those options while you are searching the archive storage. So over here, I already have an existing search that was done. I'll go to searches, and let's see what I searched there. So as a part of that search, I found 2 protection jobs that had originated from my on-prem Cohesity. What you would typically do, select whatever you want to recover, select all those jobs, and then download that metadata onto the cloud edition, right? I've also done that as well ahead of time because this step takes a while depending on how much data you're downloading, right? So go to downloaded jobs, and this is the job. This is the metadata that got downloaded. And as you can see, as a result of this download, what actually happens is that it actually creates the same job that started out from on-prem, which was archived to cloud VM. But as you can see, the status of that job is inactive. Let me actually zoom it in a little bit. So this is the same job that we saw started out from on-prem, but this is inactive. The reason because it has been downloaded from the archive, right? Once you click here, you would actually see the past runs of this job. And these are all the snapshot. This is basically all the metadata that has been downloaded. And the number of snapshots that you would see would be from the start date range to the end date range that you specified in the search, like so, right? So remember, there was a start range and the end range. So whatever snapshots were between that start range and end range would actually show up here, and we can do a recovery, right? So the next step here, once you have the metadata downloaded, is you want to recover it in the cloud. Right? So we'd go to More, Test and Dev, Clone a VM. Select the VM, say Continue. And this time around, let's rename the clone VM and call it, let's say, new. So this is going to add a prefix new in front of the clone VM, right? Now, source in this case is going to be my Azure subscription, because that's where you want to recover. There is no on-prem available anymore, right? And basically, go ahead and specify where you want to bring it up within your environment. Provided the network and the subnet, go ahead and say finish. So once this job finishes, it's basically what it's going to do is it's going to pick up the snapshot from the archive, do a format conversion from VMDK to VHD, and spin it up as an Azure VM in your subscription. Just to take a look at it, while this is running, let's take a look at an existing one that I ran earlier. This guy. And as a part of this, our source was the on-prem, and my destination was my Azure account, right? So let's go to my Azure account and look for the VM that I have recovered earlier. And again, go to networking, pick up this IP here, and first see, can we connect to it, or can we ping it? Yes, I can connect to it. And next, we would go ahead and RDP to it. And our familiar Ignite text file is here as well, right? So this is all I had to cover as a part of the demo, but there's a couple of slides I wanted to cover to illustrate the efficiencies that are involved when we are doing the archive into Azure and when we are doing the retrievals, right? Oh, are we out of time? Or? Okay.
So, I think as you've all seen, that was a pretty comprehensive end-to-end demo of multiple different use cases. Hopefully that gave you a sense for how the technology really comes to life, and I think with what Chris covered in terms of his solution and the value he's seeing. So just I think in terms of, just summarize here, and want to leave some time for Q&A. I think what you've seen is seamless integration with Azure, really sort of a single interface to manage sort of really a hybrid cloud deployment, and multiple use cases as you've seen. Just in terms of additional resources, if you haven't visited our booth, definitely come check us out. We've got a lot of things going on there. Reach out to us for any additional information, and for more information on our solutions with Azure, definitely check out the link mentioned. I know at the end, we definitely want to get your feedback as well, so do fill out the evaluation. With that, let me throw one question out to Chris to start off. Can you talk a little bit about sort of your next plans on the roadmap and what you're looking to do next with Cohesity?
So now that we have our Cohesity set up and sending off our data into Azure, some future plans would be around some test and dev, like we just saw in the demo, where we could spin up some dev environments in Azure, let some developers use those, and then you can easily take them back down. We're also looking at backing up some VMs that we're going to be standing up in Azure and having them protected with Cohesity. And I think that's pretty much it for now.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. So I guess let's open it up for any questions we can take here. I can pass the mic around, if that makes sense. Oh, the mic. Okay. Questions on anything you've seen today, technology, demos? Anything else? I know this is not a shy group, so feel free. Oh, we got one there.
I'm sort of cheating since I work with Chris, and I wanted to slip this in. My name's Tony Jaworski. I work at Brown University on the Windows Server team. And I can appreciate the conversion and migration to Cohesity. We used to use an EMC backup product, and it was poor. The interface was poor and cumbersome. It was difficult to use. Success rates varied. Here with Cohesity, everything is consistent. It works as you would expect. But one issue we have, one thing about the backup of our VMs is some VMs have hardware that prohibits a snapshot. If you have a raw device mapping or if you have a GPU, you can't readily snapshot that under current versions of VMware. So we have to run the agent. So we have 20 or 30 VMs that run the Cohesity agent. And I would like to ask for an enhancement so that we could better have an upgrade process for the agent rather than having to uninstall, reboot, and then reinstall the new version and then boot it again. So we have Cohesity version 6 right now, and we have agents running 4 and 5 that need to be upgraded. We thought we might be able to push the upgrade from the appliance. That didn't really work out, and then we opened a case where we were told that we had to uninstall that client, reboot, and then put the new version on and boot it again. So those 2 boots kind of makes it cumbersome, and we're hopeful that you can streamline that a little bit better.
Cool. No, that's. I'm sure Diane's been memorized that internally in terms of the RFE he has to file going back.
There already is one, so
okay.
yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Other ones from the audience.
Now, what was the question again? Mm-hmm. Yes, we can do both. So the question was, we are agentless for VMs, and for physical servers, we need agents. We can do that where some of the competitors cannot. So yes, that's true. You can have local on-prem targets as well, yes. And a variety of those different protocols. You can have any S3 compatible storage. You can have NAS, and obviously you can have different types of targets across the cloud vendors.
Any other questions? Okay. I think we're going to do to wrap up the session, we're going to do the drawing here, and I'll have Chris help me out with this.
Wait.
Oh, okay. I'm going to pick out a ticket here. 708903. 708903. No? Okay, I think we'll have to go with one more. 708908.
Oh, there it is.
Okay. All right. We got a winner. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.